Just over a year ago, we moved here to Quebec and decided that we needed a new car during the process. So we decided to settle on this 2017 Mazda CX-5 GT with the tech package. And about a year ago, we did our first episode on this. This was a full spotlight showing you all the features and everything about it. Since then, we've done 2 episodes of Test Drive Showdown with this vehicle, and we've also done another follow-up snapshot with the 2018 to show what the differences are with this. We also did a quick episode of Test Drive Garage showing the different options you have for winter tires if you live in a country like ours that you really do need to have them, and we did that as well. But now it's been a year. We've had this car, we've been driving it, maybe not as much as we would have liked to, but we're going to be talking a little bit about the maintenance and our thoughts 1 year after since owning this car. Now, first off, I'll admit that we haven't driven this car nearly as much as I would have liked to. When we bought it, we really did need a vehicle for year-round use. All-wheel drive made sense. The size was good. Obviously, we wanted to go with something that was blue. So we liked this Mazda CX-5 and had everything that we wanted it to. And even today, after reviewing a lot of other vehicles in the segment, as well as other SUVs in general, we do find that you still get a lot of bang for your buck. There's a few things on the inside that we would like to see at this point, and we'll talk about that when we get on the inside. But for the most part, this has been a great vehicle. But what have we done with it? Really not a whole lot, unfortunately. My wife changed jobs in the last couple months, and now she has a company car, so she doesn't use this. She was using it a little bit before for work, but now not so much. And also since December of 2017, we've had press cars every single week, so every week I've got something completely different. So I too am not driving this, and it's a bit of a problem because we love driving it, we love the ride, we love the seating comfort and the space, but we just don't have a chance to drive it anymore. So we've only put about 10,000 kilometers on it, which I know is not a lot. Really, most people are probably putting between 15 and 25,000 kilometers on these types of cars, and I know that people have put certainly a lot more, and we've seen that with groups on Facebook, such as the Mazda CX-5 and CX-5 Global Owners groups. So there are people that are putting a lot more mileage on this. Definitely during the first 6 months of ownership, we put more miles on this than we expected to. It's really tapered off since then. So there are a few things that you should know. Now, we haven't had any problems with this vehicle. I mean, we had one little one, and it was really just related to the winter tires that we bought. After a few days, we were using our heated garage, and we took the car out with the winter tires, and it was minus 25 degrees outside, but it was 12 degrees in the garage, and then our TPMS sensor went off. Now, unfortunately, with the CX-5s, at least the ones sold here in Canada, there's no button to reset it. Some vehicles like the CX-9 and the Mazda 3 do have a button for it, but for some reason, Mazda has taken it off for this model. So we had to actually go to the dealer and have them reset it and actually pump up the tires because they weren't quite as pumped up as they should have been. But that's been about it. Now, just because we haven't had any issues doesn't mean others haven't experienced some problems. There's 2 main things that some owners have certainly reported, especially in climates like ours and maybe Russia as well. The engine mounts, we suspect, are a bit of an issue in cold weather. If it gets to about minus 25, minus 30 degrees or colder, people have noticed that the engine will shake. Now, I don't think it's an issue with the engine because Mazda is using it with other vehicles, but I believe that it could be something related to the actual engine mounts. Now, again, we haven't experienced this issue, but we have seen a number of posts about it during the winter on, again, those Mazda CX-5 owner groups. So there is that to be concerned about. It does seem to be an issue with this model. We haven't heard anything so far with the 2018 models, which use basically the same SkyActiv-G engine here, but it has cylinder deactivation. So we haven't heard anything about the 2018s, but 2017s you might be in trouble. Now, if you don't live in a climate that gets cold, then who cares? It doesn't matter. The only other issue that we've heard is with the Soul Red paint could be chipping on the front. Now, to be fair, I mean, any vehicle is going to chip on the front. If you're getting hit with stones and other garbage on the highway, they will chip. I mean, even this car has a chip stone or 2 in the areas that you wouldn't really want them to be in. I don't know if it's really a big issue, but a number of people have complained, and we've heard that from other manufacturers about other cars as well. So it's not necessarily limited to the Mazda CX-5, but it is something to be aware of that for some reason with the Soul Red paint, there's been some issues with it. But aside from that, that's all we've heard. We've had a great experience with this car so far. Again, driving about 10,000 kilometers. Maybe isn't as much as we would have liked, but it still gives us a pretty good idea of how this car is. So let's take it on a quick road test and see if we're still in love with the interior and ride of this vehicle as we were about a year ago when we bought it. I was actually a little off with the mileage that we've done on this. It's actually at 11,000, so it's a little bit more, but still, I mean, 10% more really isn't that much. Again, we should be more in the 20 to 22,000 range based on what we had actually anticipated, but forgive me. we've been driving other cars. Now, when it comes to the interior here, I still do like it. I do like the leather dash. I do like, well, I mean, it's mostly leather, right? But I do like the leather dash. I like the interior. I like the layout. The seat comfort is great. Audio system isn't too bad, too, with Bose, even though we do find now that Harman Kardon certainly has a nicer sound to it, especially at this price point. But I think the one thing that we obviously were appreciative at first, and then especially when we drove the CX-9, we thought, hey, it's pretty good too, was the infotainment. We liked Mazda's infotainment. We found that their actual navigation software was pretty good, got you to the destination you needed it to go to. But since we've driven a lot of other vehicles, unfortunately, it's now not that great, especially by comparison. Now, Mazda has promised that Android Auto and Apple CarPlay will be rolling out within the next couple months. It should be. By the time we're recording this, it still isn't here in North America. I know that a number of other YouTubers have had press vehicles given to them with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay enabled on them, that's great. We haven't tested it yet, though. I would imagine it would work just the same as every other vehicle. But that's, I think, the one major thing. I mean, a 7-inch screen on this, it does look pretty small, especially compared to some of the other vehicles that we've driven so far. It is stuck on the top there. The navigation system isn't as beautiful as we thought it would be. And even with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, I'm still not going to be 100% sold on it anymore, because so many other built-in systems worked really, really well. And the one thing I really dislike about Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is that you have to plug them in, right? You have to plug it in by USB, whereas with the BMW system, at least now, they're wireless. So down the road, it would be nice to have wireless. It's not going to be something that's retroactively available on this car, unfortunately, but when they do upgrade to Android Auto and Apple CarPlay for these units, at least it will be a little bit better. But I think that that really is one of the things that is a big bummer here. Everything else, though, is really good. You know, I do like the head-up display. I do like the dual-zone climate control, the heated seats, heated steering wheel. The power is still pretty good, too. I know it's not the most powerful vehicle on the market at 184 horsepower, but it still gets the job done. But my concern is, one thing when you're an auto journalist, you can really say whatever you want or not, depending on how good you feel about yourself. I always am honest and will always tell the manufacturers the way I really feel about a vehicle. And I'm telling them, both as a journalist and as an owner, somebody who has this car, that they will need to do more. I know that Mazda is doing very well here in Quebec, especially, but in Canada, they're selling a lot, especially the CX-5. People really do love them. But if they want to stay with the market, not even ahead, because they're not ahead in terms of what these vehicles have to offer, if they want to stay competitive, they are going to need to get serious. I do see Mazda waiting to come out with a signature trim before we're going to see things like ventilated seats or that 360-degree camera. But it would be nice. I mean, black headliner would be great. Maybe if they add some suede like they did with the Mazda 6, it would make it look really good on the inside here. But they are going to have to continue to be competitive by adding more features and not just about the overall drive and look, because I still like the drive of this car. I still like the look of it. I think it's one of the best looking consumer crossover SUVs on the market today, but they'll have to do more. That's really the thing. You know, we're happy with it. I like it. I don't regret buying this vehicle, but they do need to do just a little bit more just to stay competitive. But let's say you're still thinking about buying one of these, whether it's a 2017 or 2018, and you're curious to know about our maintenance with it. Well, like I said, we haven't driven it that much. 11,000 kilometers isn't that high, and we really haven't had to do much with it. We've only done one oil change. That was 6 months. We are scheduled to do another one about this time now, but our first oil change was actually included by our dealer, so we didn't actually have to pay out of pocket for the first oil change. Really, our only cost was the winter tires. That cost us about $1,100 with tax and everything all in. We talked about that more on the video that we did on the winter tires. So if you want to know more about this car, if you want to see the full spotlight, you can click the link at the end of this video, and you can also click the link at the end of the video if you want to see the video on winter tires. You can also click the card up at the top if you want to see the differences with the 2018 model, because we did do a snapshot on that. And as always, if you have any questions or comments about this video or this car, then please leave a comment below or even email me, niall@perpetualradio.ca. We're always more than happy to help if you have any questions, whether you're looking to buy one of these or you just want to know a little bit more about it. That's pretty much our whole job, is to inform people what they want to buy, give them the best tools that they can if you're going out to buy one of these cars. So thanks for watching this maintenance episode here on Test Drive Garage. I really appreciate that you've clicked it, and if you liked it, please give us a thumbs up. If you didn't, oh well, I can't help you then. But please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We publish new content every single week here on Perpetual Radio Networks. Every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time, a new episode of Test Drive comes out, and maybe you'll be lucky. A week like this, you'll get another one in your inbox on Thursday as well. So thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.